When it comes to Marshals Episode 3, one thing is clear from the very beginning. This episode isn't just about tension, it's about escalation. The bomb threat and the earlier bullet warning completely shift the tone of the series, and by the time the episode ends, it's obvious that Kayce Dutton is no longer dealing with ordinary threats. This is calculated, this is personal, and most importantly, this is just the beginning. So the big question everyone is asking right now is simple. Who is actually behind the bomb threat and the bullet threat? Let's break it down because Episode 3 gives us clues, but it also intentionally holds back just enough to keep the mystery alive. First, we need to understand the nature of these threats. The bullet warning comes first, and it doesn't feel random at all. It's precise, deliberate, and symbolic. A bullet isn't just violence, it's a message. It's someone saying, I can reach you whenever I want. And then comes the bomb threat, which raises the stakes dramatically. This isn't just intimidation anymore. This is escalation into something that could cause mass damage. Now here's the key detail. Both threats are connected in tone and timing. That strongly suggests we're not dealing with two different people. This is one coordinated effort. Whoever is behind this is thinking several steps ahead, and they're testing Kayce's reactions. And that brings us to the first major theory. This is tied to land and power. If you've followed anything connected to the world of Yellowstone, you already know that land is everything. Control over territory means power, money, and influence. Kayce stepping into his role as a marshal immediately puts him in the path of people who operate in the shadows, people who don't want law enforcement interfering with their operations. Episode 3 subtly hints at this through dialogue and tension in certain scenes. There are references to disputes, to ongoing operations, and to people who feel threatened by Kayce's presence. The bomb threat in that context starts to look less like chaos and more like strategy. It's not just about scaring Kayce, it's about sending a message to everyone watching. Stay out of our way. But here's where things get even more interesting. The episode doesn't just point to a criminal organization, it also leaves room for something more personal. Because the way these threats are carried out feels targeted. Very targeted. The bullet warning isn't public. It's directed. The bomb threat, while larger in scale, still feels like it's designed to draw Kayce in, to force him into a specific kind of response. That suggests the person behind it knows him, or at least knows of him. And that opens up the second major theory. This is retaliation. Kayce isn't just any lawman. He's a Dutton. That name alone carries weight, history, and enemies. Over the years, Kayce has been involved in situations where lines were crossed, where people were hurt, and where decisions had consequences. Episode 3 leans into that history without spelling it out directly. So it's very possible that someone from Kayce's past is now resurfacing. Someone who's been waiting. Someone who doesn't just want revenge, but wants to break him psychologically. Because that's what these threats really feel like when you look closer. This isn't just about physical harm. It's about pressure. The person behind this is watching. They're studying how Kayce reacts. The bullet tests his awareness. The bomb tests his control. And each step pushes him closer to making a mistake. Now, let's talk about the third possibility. One that Episode 3 quietly builds in the background. A coordinated network. There are moments in the episode where it becomes clear that pulling off something like a bomb threat isn't easy. It requires resources, planning, and access. This isn't something a random individual just decides to do overnight. So even if there is a personal motive, it's likely being backed by something bigger. A group, an organization, or even a hidden partnership that hasn't been fully revealed yet. And this is where the show gets really smart. Because instead of giving us a clear villain, it creates layers. You have the possibility of land disputes. You have the angle of personal revenge. And then you have the idea that all of this could be connected to a larger system operating behind the scenes. By the end of Episode 3, Kayce himself doesn't have the answer yet, but he understands one thing. This is not random. And that realization changes everything. You can see it in the way he carries himself in the final scenes. He's more alert, more cautious, and more aware that he's being targeted in a way that goes beyond normal law enforcement threats. He's not just reacting anymore, he's starting to anticipate. And that's exactly what whoever is behind this wants. Because as long as Kayce is reacting, he's one step behind. So who is really behind the bomb threat and the bullet warning? Right now, the most realistic answer is this. It's someone or a group with both motive and reach. Someone connected to power struggles, possibly tied to land or criminal operations, but also someone who understands Kayce well enough to target him psychologically. The show is clearly setting up a bigger reveal down the line. Episode 3 isn't about giving us the answer. It's about showing us how dangerous the question really is. Because whoever is behind this isn't done. If anything, they're just getting started. And as the season moves forward, every move Kayce makes is going to bring him closer to the truth, or deeper into the trap that's been set for him.